What is going on YouTube? It is your boy MrBaboon back with a reaction video. This time we are reacting to the most extreme stories of revenge that went too far. So we're going to react to this. Let's see what this is. See what stories they got up in here. You know what I mean? So if you guys want to watch it for you guys yourself, make sure you guys do check the description. I got the video and the channel link down below in the description if you guys want to check it out. So you guys can. It's down below if you guys want to. With that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and jump right in this. Let's go ahead and like.
The unpaid mechanic. Back in the 2000s, a mechanic running a small, independent repair shop was waiting for new customers when a man in an expensive convertible pulled in. The man explained that his car's transmission needed to be fixed, a job that was not only labor-intensive but also complex. The mechanic would need to remove, disassemble, repair, and reassemble the entire transmission. Despite the difficulty of the task, the mechanic took on the job and completed it flawlessly. Satisfied with his work, he called the car's owner to pick up the vehicle. However, when the owner arrived, he explained that he didn't have the full amount to pay the mechanic. He offered to pay half of the cost immediately and promised to pay the rest in about a week. This was the first red flag for the mechanic. Although disheartened, he reluctantly agreed to the arrangement, trusting the man's word. Weeks turned into months, and the remaining payment never came. Frustrated, the mechanic decided to call the car owner himself to ask when he would pay the remaining amount. What the man said next left the mechanic stunned. The convertible owner replied that now that he had the car with him, he felt that he had no reason to pay him. At first, the mechanic became righteously furious, but then he came up with a smarter way to handle the situation and get some revenge in the process. Under state law, he discovered he had a mechanic's lien, giving him the legal right to claim and sell the car to cover the unpaid debt. Wasting no time, the mechanic called a towing company to repossess the car. The convertible was taken to a recycling center, where it was completely demolished. The scrap metal and parts were sold, and the mechanic recovered the rest of the payment he was owed. When the car's owner found out what had happened, he was livid. He stormed into the repair shop and even called the police, demanding that the mechanic be arrested. However, after the mechanic calmly explained the situation, the police determined it was not a criminal matter and left it to be settled in court. The convertible owner went as far as suing the mechanic, but the lawsuit ultimately went nowhere. The mechanic, having followed the law to the letter, had the last laugh. CEO's plan gone wrong.
I mean, he got the last laugh though, right? So I mean, you know? I mean, to be fair, he was owed money, right? I mean, kind of tricky. It's a tricky one, I would say. But I mean, he won it, so, and he got his money in the end. So I mean, what do we think? Let me know.
David and Ina Steiner, a couple from the United States, owned a blog called E-Commerce Bites, where they published news articles about e-commerce. In 2019, they wrote an article covering a lawsuit against eBay, heavily criticizing the company. This didn't go unnoticed. Soon after, the couple began receiving bizarre packages they had never ordered. A book on coping with the loss of a spouse, a gruesome pig mask, $70 worth of unwanted pizzas, and even boxes full of live cockroaches. These harassers went even further, stalking them, attempting to plant tracking devices on their cars and creating fake social media accounts to send them threats. The secret plan was to harass the Steiners to the point where they would reach out to eBay to complain about the harassment. Then, eBay would swoop in as the good guys, pretending to assist them in an effort to gain their trust and have more positive coverage on their blog. However, the scheme did not go far. While investigating, police traced one of the unwanted pizza deliveries back to a gift card purchased in Silicon Valley, just a few miles from eBay's headquarters. This clue led authorities to dig deeper, eventually involving the FBI and eBay's legal team. By November 2022, as a result of the investigation, more than 7 eBay employees had been sentenced to prison for their roles in the harassment.
Dove Men Plus Care.
Oh, wait.
To the team. Thanks.
What?
That's the finger ball.
Bro.
Dove Men.
Harassment campaign. While the CEO avoided a prison sentence, he stepped down from his position. You see, people online don't always have the best intentions. The internet is full of shady sites and trackers. That's why you need a solid VPN. Huge thanks to CyberGhost VPN for sponsoring this video. CyberGhost routes your traffic through a secure, encrypted tunnel, keeping your IP hidden and your data private. Just turn on CyberGhost VPN so no one will not even themselves know what you do online. With just a few streaming services, including blocked in your region. CyberGhost works on consoles. One subscription covers up to 7 to 3 cents a month, plus 4 free months. That's 84% off, along with a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 support. Join over 38 illegal parkers and grab your discount via the link in the description. Stay safe out there. Rick's illegal parking revenge. Rick owned 2 apartment complexes and a parking lot with space for about 16 cars. Unfortunately, people started parking there illegally without his permission. One day, Rick got fed up and blocked one of the parked cars with his own. As he started calling the towing company, the driver of the blocked car did something crazy. They put the car in reverse and drove recklessly through Rick's yard, tearing through his bushes. Amazingly, Rick managed to keep his patience. He tried to find a peaceful solution by arranging for a towing company to place signs in the lot, warning that any unauthorized vehicles will be towed. The signs seemed to work for a while, until the snowy, freezing night of New Year's Eve. When Rick came home, he found every single space in his parking lot occupied by cars. There were so many cars that they even spilled outside the lot, blocking the entrances to Rick's buildings. Furious, Rick called the towing company. However, since it was New Year's Eve, they were too busy to help. This was the last straw. Rick decided to take matters into his own hands. He grabbed 3 long sprinklers, went inside, and attached them to his faucets. Then he returned to the lot and began spraying the parked cars with warm water, covering them in ice. He carefully moved the sprinklers every 30 minutes to ensure every car was thoroughly coated, paying special attention to the windows, handles, and locks to seal them in ice. Once every car was iced over, Rick went to bed satisfied. At 4 a.m. the next morning, he was woken by a crowd of angry people outside his house. They told Rick that their friend had given them permission to park there. Rick, with a grin on his face, pointed to the signs and calmly told them to remove their cars, or he would call the towing company. But with their cars completely encased in ice, they were helpless. True to his word, Rick called the towing company. Not only were the cars ticketed by the police, but to Rick's satisfaction, they were also towed. Ryan and Sebastian.
Shit.
Ryan and Sebastian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty interesting way to do it, right? It's kind of, I will say, it was pretty smart, too, the way he did that, like, with the water and everything, spraying it and get it nice and cold, what will freeze, so when they have to try to move it, but they can't, so he gets the last laugh at the end by towing those shit. That was genius. Genius, I will say.
Twin brothers, Ryan and Sebastian. Ryan and Sebastian, twin brothers, had always had a complicated relationship. Sebastian constantly bullied Ryan, and since he was the favorite son, their parents often turned a blind eye. Sebastian even let his friends join the bullying, making Ryan's life miserable. When Ryan turned 18, he realized he was bisexual, a fact that only deepened the issues within his family. His parents disapproved of his sexuality, so he kept his relationship with another man a secret. The situation declined when Sebastian unexpectedly saw Ryan with his boyfriend. Wasting no time, Sebastian rushed to tell their parents, not just revealing Ryan's relationship, but also actively trying to get him kicked out of the house. Sebastian argued that it was wrong for Ryan to stay, and their parents sided with him. They threw Ryan out, leaving him alone and homeless. Fast forward 10 years, and Ryan's life had drastically changed. He was now happily married to the same man he had been secretly dating back then. One day, out of the blue, he received a call from a family member urging him to come to the hospital. When he got there, to his surprise, he saw his parents, who seemed oddly happy to see him after all these years. But their smiles quickly faded as they revealed the reason for their call. Sebastian had developed severe kidney problems and urgently needed a transplant. Because the waiting list was too long, his only real chance of survival was a donation from Ryan, his identical twin and perfect match. His parents begged him to have mercy on Sebastian, pleading for his help to save his brother's life. Ryan reminded them of everything they had done to him and how they had cast him aside when he needed them most. Without another word, he turned and walked away, leaving Sebastian to face his fate alone. Mike's chips. When Mike was in grade school, he always kept a bag of chips in his backpack. But when Dave...
I mean, you can't really blame him, right? Right? Like, you can't blame him. Like, I understand. I understand, okay? I get why you did it.
Dave, the biggest bully in the class, found out, he made it his mission to ruin them. Every day, Dave would walk by, punch Mike's bag, and crush the chips inside, leaving a mess for Mike to clean up. This went on for 5 days straight, until Mike decided he had enough and came up with a wicked plan to get back at Dave. The following week, as Mike was walking to class, Dave got ready to repeat his usual routine. But the moment he punched Mike's bag, he screamed in agony. His hand was covered in blood and bruises, and he had to be rushed to the nurse's office. What had happened was that Mike had secretly removed the chips from his bag and replaced them with sewing needles. And since Dave didn't want to get in trouble for bullying Mike, he couldn't even explain what really happened to the teachers. From that day onwards, Mike was finally able to enjoy his chips in peace. The bully teacher. A 6-year-old kid had just started first grade, but her teacher, Mrs. Hagner, hated both him and his best friend. Not only did she give unproportionate punishments when he made a mistake, but he also called them derogatory names in front of the whole class and even prohibited other kids from playing with them. One time, however, she went the extra mile. She forced the poor kid to remain in a garbage can while all the other kids had to pour their leftover lunches on him. When he came back home, soaked in garbage juice, his mom rightfully became worried. She immediately asked him what had happened at school, and the kid revealed everything. Just to make sure, the mom called his best friend's mom too, who also confirmed his side of the story. Furious, she rushed to school to denounce what had happened, but shockingly, the school sided with Mrs. Hagner, potentially to avoid repercussions. Completely disgusted and enraged, the mom moved the kid to another school, where his grades significantly improved. In the meantime, the mom was studying to better her career, and with time, she got a degree in education, becoming a teacher. She had even gotten a master's degree and became a well-known and respected figure in her community. The school where the kid was bullied had closed off a few years after he moved, and about 30 years later, when he remembered about it, he asked his mom if she remembered about Mrs. Hagner. That's when he learned something incredible. His mom told him that in all these years, she made sure to let every school administration in her state know what Mrs. Hagner had done, completely ruining her reputation. Every time she applied for a job at schools in her mom's district, she was immediately turned down. Greedy landlord. Angela was a young girl who rented
it serves a right for... You know? I mean, it serves a right for, like, I mean, what the fuck, right?
a flat from a greedy landlord who constantly cut corners, skipping repairs, painting over mold, and raising the rent whenever he could. After he increased the rent for the third time, Angela decided she had enough and
there's actually a lot of landlords and shit that be doing shit like that. A lot.
planned to move out. The next day, she cleared out all her belongings and was outside with her bags by 1 p.m., just an hour past the noon deadline the landlord had set. But the landlord claimed she was late and used it as an excuse to keep her $1,200 security deposit. Angela was furious. A couple of months later, she was walking past her old building at night when she noticed something interesting, an outdoor faucet she had seen a few times when she lived there. It was pointed directly at a set of stairs leading down to the basement, which the landlord always claimed he used for his personal business. With revenge on her mind, Angela turned the faucet on and walked away. By morning, the basement was completely flooded, destroying thousands of dollars worth of the landlord's electronics. Don't forget to click on the description link to get the special discount CyberGhost VPN is granting to our channel.
Bro. Flooded the bed. I mean, what you gonna do? You know? I mean, at that point, in my opinion, right? Yeah, no, that landlord had that coming. Fuck that landlord. Like, nah. That's fucked. It was definitely a good video. Make sure you guys do check out the video for you guys yourself down below in the description. So is the channel. That's also down below. The channel link is also down there below. If you guys want to check out the channel or the video for you guys yourself, you guys can. That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Positivity is key. Motivation is key. Happiness is key. I will see you guys in the next video. You guys stay safe. Watch out for each other. I'll see you guys in the next one.